So, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast. This week, once again, back in the Turn 3 variant with myself, Ben, and Nia. Um, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to start this episode off on a somewhat somber note with news breaking yesterday of Sir Frank Williams passing away at the age of 79, I believe it was. So
Okay.
it's a big loss to the motorsport family. I mean, the fact that the Williams team is still going is sort of testament to not only his love of the sport, but his family's love of the sport as well. And yeah, he's one that will be sorely missed around the paddock. He was a different character in his own right, and I think one of my personal favorite videos was when he went on a hot lap round Silverstone with Lewis, and Claire leans in through the window at the start and says, "Right, you've got 2 laps to convince you to join Williams." It's just no, it was such a nice video.
I think it's a good thing that he got to see his team getting points and a podium for the last time this year as well. That I saw somebody posted that on Twitter, and it was like, oh yeah, that it was good that he got to see that before he passed. So
Yeah, yeah. Even if that was the Spa Grand Prix, but we'll allow it
podium.
for that
It was
one.
it was still a podium.
Yeah, we'll allow it for that. Yeah, Ben, any remarks?
Um, yeah, it's kind of sad because he was a person who gave my favorite driver, Jensen, the chance to be in the sport. So if it wasn't for Frank, then I don't know if I'd even support the sport in a way.
Definitely wouldn't be a
So,
JB fan.
no,
We might not have
but
even had JB be 2009 world champion.
it's strange how you can see things without like such a character of the sport.
Yeah, he was such a presence around when he was around the paddock. He was such an amazing character to have, and just the fact that even after his paralysis and being confined to the wheelchair, he was still an amazing person, and he'd still love to joke around and such. So
It was amazing that he still made an effort to be there as well.
yeah,
I've seen many photos of him around the paddock. Obviously
I
before
feel
COVID.
I feel that really speaks to the level of his love for the sport. So no, he's definitely one that will be sorely missed by fans and community members in the paddock alike, I think. And the outpouring of tributes on the social medias and just generally all over the internet has sort of is testament to that, I think. So, but yeah, it's not the only thing we have to discuss this week. As sad as Frank passing away is, we do have Formula 2 coming back for its second to last and last throw of the dice.
In like 2 months.
Yeah,
Clearly
they took a
knows what's happening with F2 anymore.
nice hiatus again. That's probably the thing I've hated most about the Formula 2 calendar this year. It's just these extended sabbaticals that the calendar just seems to go on. Like it wasn't bad when we had sort of the European leg, and then you kind of knew that when F1 went on the summer break that F2 was going to go on the summer break as well. But then there's the periods in between. It's just kind of like, okay, now what?
Yeah, it felt like because it felt like Russia didn't happen really. Because I think it was just Russia. It was like a month or something, then Russia, and another 2 months. So
And
it felt
one of the
didn't really
Russian
happen.
ones got rained off as well. So
Yeah, and Monza as well. They were at Monza.
So
It
yeah,
felt like they didn't happen.
but I'm hoping that next year's calendar somewhat fixes that. We'll see.
I think it does.
I hope so. It's just whether because they've changed it all about. It's just whether it works. Because I'm all for. I like the 3 races, but it's the fact that there's so many gaps in between. There's such long gaps in between. Whereas I think now they're going back to 2 races a weekend, but having more weekends.
Yeah, there's
So-
14 weekends now, but they're going back to 2 races. So
Yeah.
I like the layout of the weekend. Like 3 races was good, but the calendar was bad.
Yeah.
So they've fixed something, but also like they fixed the calendar, which is great. But like, I guess budget-wise, it makes more
Yeah,
sense. But
That
like,
was what
it
I was
needs-
thinking. If you increase both, you're just increasing the
Yeah.
expenditure for the teams a lot. Because I mean, you could, in theory, bin it in qualifying, bin it in sprint race 1, sprint race 2, and the feature race. That's a very expensive price tag for one weekend of racing.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you didn't completely trash the car, say you lost a front wing in one session, you had damaged suspension in another, these things add up.
But even now with it was 3 races and what was it, 7 or 8 weekends?
I think it's
There's-
8.
There's been about 6 or 7 drivers who've had to drop out because of budget,
Exactly.
and there's 4 drivers this weekend who've had to drop out. So
It's just a bit
money.
mad. Ralph Boschung announced that he had a full drive next season. I can't remember where for, but I saw that it was like his first it'll be his first full racing year since, for a long time, basically.
is it Campos?
It might be.
Because I saw
I
pictures
can't
of
remember.
him with Adrian Campos and then guessing his son in a different picture. So I'm guessing it's Campos.
So yeah, it's good that he's actually got the financial backing to do a proper full season. Because that's in the junior categories, that is something that is a career killer, really. I hate to say it, but I mean, you look at Callum Ilott, and it's largely down to the funding differences that have not only meant that Mazepin jumped him for a seat in Formula One, but now Guan Yu Zhou has as well. It's one thing to be part of a very respectable driver academy in that of Ferrari. It's another thing entirely to have the financial backing of multi-million, if not billion-dollar corporations, companies, families, whatever and a lot of the funding will come from companies, but those companies just so happen to be owned by parents. So it is what it is. But it's an unfortunate reality of the support series at the minute, which is why there is space for series like W Series, which I feel there needs to be more of. Like, yes, W Series is fantastic and it's doing it for the women, but base level, let's think, go any, like, even karting is expensive, and then the amount of people that have managed to fund their way through karting and get to karting championships, win karting championships, but then to get into single seaters is a completely different ball tier. So imagine if there was a sort of a W Series equivalent, quote unquote, but less powerful than a Formula 4 car, sort of thing. It's a sort of a stepping stone between karting and open wheelers. So
I guess that kind of is Formula 4, because like I don't think you can get any less than like Formula 4. And I think
it's more the fact that the championship funds the cars and pays the drivers, sort of thing. So
yeah,
it's the financial, I don't want to say obligation, that's the wrong word, but yeah, it takes that pressure off having the financial backing, because I mean, we see it in F2 that you have the backing to get into a race, but then the backing falls through and you lose your seat for the rest of the season. So I feel if people can prove themselves when they don't have that pressure to that pressure to perform, to maintain the sponsor relationships and the financial backing in that sense, that maybe we'd get more people through the system in terms of
who deserve to be
merit.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's people like Mazepin, and Gleda. Obviously, they're decent enough drivers to get to those positions, because otherwise they wouldn't be accepted into teams.
Mm.
But they also have the sponsorship money, which appeals to the teams. So, we need more people there on merit than anything, because there's 4 drivers this race weekend, who've had to drop out because of sponsorship money or just budget money.
Yeah.
And one of them was what's his name? Hang on. Was it Richard Rashaw who won in Silverstone?
Honestly, couldn't remember. It's been
There's been
so long.
There's been a couple of them who have got Richard Rashaw and David Beckman. Both of them have had at least podiums, and they still had to drop out this of Formula 2 because of budget. So that says quite a lot about the what motorsport is like, because they're good enough to get podiums in Formula 2, which is very competitive, yet they still have to leave because of money. So
that's the Trident boys, isn't it?
I think so.
Which is I think that's one of the reasons why Ralph got David out of Trident. It's because of the sort of the funding and the more get him in the more competitive end of the field in Formula 3 at least. So yeah, it's a shame that funding plays such a vital role in it. I know obviously money's got to come from somewhere, but the amount of money these things rake in and just the corporate sponsorships for the series as a whole, you'd think they'd be able to at least offer some kind of subsidy of something.
Yeah, because I think in Formula 2, it's the drivers and their sponsors who pay for everything. Because I think it's Liam Lawson on Twitch got asked, how much do you get paid to race in Formula 2? He was like, nothing. I haven't been paid to race anywhere my entire racing career. He's actually been the one to pay to enter, which is not fair, really. I think the teams themselves might pay a bit of it, but it's mostly the drivers, which no. Right. So Jack, for the last 2, these are all for the last 2 races of the season for Formula 2. Jack Doohan is replacing Richard Rashaw in MP Motorsport. Clement Novalak is coming into MP Motorsport as well. So the MP Motorsport driver lineup is completely changed. Logan Sargent is coming into HWA, and Ollie Caldwell is coming to Campos again, also the last 2 races. And I couldn't find out who the last 3 were replacing, but
it's a few. I want to say there's a few call-ups from Formula 3 there, isn't there?
All of them.
That'd be it. That's the problem with so many support series and then having them so far away. It's just can't remember who's in which one.
Well, the drivers who aren't in, who had to drop out of Formula 2 are Richard Rashaw, obviously from MP Motorsport. Liam Zendelli, I think he's HWA. I think he was HWA. Yeah. Richard Beckman was also MP Motorsport, and Jake Hughes was HWA.
Maybe it's both HWA drivers then.
No, because one's coming in for Campos.
Oh, teams: Campos, Ollie Caldwell, and Ralph Boschon. There you go. That's Campos. So who have we lost? We've lost Doohan and Novalak.
Jake Hughes was replacing. No, Jake Hughes was HWA because he was replacing Jack Aitken, who was replacing someone else.
Well, I mean, we've got Logan Sargent and Alessio Daleda in HWA.
Mm. I mean, Logan looks promising. He's just been signed to the Williams Driver Academy, so.
The other one is 1/3 of the unholy trifecta.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now that we've sort of covered the mess that is the end of season Formula 2 shenanigans, because I'm pretty sure this happens every year because people run out of money. Let's move on to the Saudi Arabian, definitely not done the deal for the money GP, and the We Racers 1 Grand Prix, because this is definitely the most apt name for it, because, well, I think we've covered it in previous episodes quite extensively, like when the deal got announced. But yeah, this weekend we're heading to Jeddah and another street circuit. As Alex described it, Monaco with Monza speeds. Sounds like a recipe for bits of carbon fiber all over the shop. So it's also the second longest track on the calendar at just over 6 kilometers. Spa being the only circuit longer, but we didn't race there, did we? So this will be the longest race lap.
We did.
Oh, sorry, 2 laps behind a safety car. I do beg your pardon. So yeah, this will be the longest full speed racing lap achieved this season.
And Max Verstappen might become champion here if Lewis finishes 6th or lower.
Yeah, so there are possibilities for Max to be able to walk out of Jeddah as Formula One world champion, but requires some, well, I think it's fair to say divine intervention at this point. Because I'm pretty sure Toto Wolff said that the spicy Brazil engine was coming back for Jeddah. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Not looking forward to that. Right, Hamilton pole position in his prediction slot. So you know what? Let's mix it up. Let's go bold predictions first. And Ben,
I've gone for a crash at turn 1, lap 1.
We love it. Turn 1 crash. It's also a year to the day since Grosjean's crispy barbecue. Nia, your bold prediction, please.
What was my one last time?
Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, blah 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 blah.
Oh,
G2
yeah.
points.
I was going to go with unexpected podium, but we were like, no, we can't do that.
Well, you can just rephrase it because we had Ben had a non-Mercedes / Red Bull on the podium.
A McLaren, a Ferrari, or Alpine on the podium.
Oof, okay.
This is where like Vettel gets a podium now.
There's going to be some words with Sebastian Vettel.
And here comes Sebastian. Hits the turbo button. Last lap, absolute charge. 20th to first in 3 kilometers. Chris has said that Perez is going to DNF. And Alex has said that there will be at least one red flag in the race.
Okay.
His justification being that it's like Monaco, but with Monza speeds. Which is, fair enough.
I'd say safety car, definitely. Red flag. Maybe.
I mean, all you need is a large enough amount of debris that it blocks enough of the track that they have to red flag it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it at Baku. That wasn't, and half the track was still pretty much clear at that point. It was just the location of the car made it awkward to get to, so red flag. So sometimes it's more how it happened than what has happened.
What's your prediction?
I am gonna go for double Alpha Tauri points finish.
Has that happened this season?
I don't know. I'm really hoping it has.
It must have.
I'm sure it has at some point.
I don't think so. Because aren't they only on like 10 points? And they always get like 8th max.
Well, as long as they get 8th and 9th, I'll be fine.
Or 10th.
I don't care as long as it's points, right? God.
So Hungary and Baku's when
They finished 5th and 6th. Okay, that's interesting.
And both races were a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
Spice up your life. So, I mean, if it's happened before and it's happened at a street circuit,
it's inevitable.
It could happen. I'm not going to rule it out because I want it to happen now. But let's just say it's not the most likely thing on earth. Bold predictions. That's kind of the point. Less bold than double Alfa Romeo points finish, though.
That really confused me. So I was like, they're only on.
Just remember, there's 4 A's. You've got Al R, Alf, and Alf. It's the technical definitions there. Nia, pole.
Max.
Ooh. Podium.
Max. Charles Lewis.
Ben, pole.
Hamilton.
Podium.
Hamverbar.
Le Classic.
Yay.
I've said Hamilton pole. See, it's really annoying because I don't want to do the same as someone else, but you've done Hamver bot and Chris has done Hambot ver.
I was going to do Hambot ver, but I didn't want it because that would be Mercedes 1-2, and McLaren are the only team to get 1-2 so far this season.
Yeah.
So.
Well, keep it that way.
Yeah.
I will go for Hamilton, Verstappen. I know. I'm just.
You got 18 drivers to pick one.
I know. No.
Well,
No.
About 5 drivers to pick from.
I want to check one thing first. Who finished there last time? Oh, that was Alpines. Why don't we say Alonso? Why not? It's not going to work. Actually, no, I need to play it safe. I need to catch up to Nia.
How much am I winning by?
Bottas, you are ahead by 8 points.
Let's not wait that way. Way.
It's mirrored, so you just gave it to yourself. There you go.
See, it's mirrored for me as well. So like,
See, it's
that way's mirrored for me.
see, I've unmirrored it on Zoom, so
Yeah, I can't.
big brain time. Chris has gone Hamilton pole, Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen podium, and Alex has gone Hamilton pole, Sainz, Vettel, Hamilton. The stunned silence there says it all. I did say before the podcast that it was melting my brain somewhat. I feel like I've just melted everyone's collectively now.
My first reaction in my brain was, "What in the fuck is this from Deadpool?" But it's their own, I guess.
I mean, I know we've never been there before, but like, Christ, that's an upset and a half. So yeah, Mazepin bingo, anyone? There are 50 laps of this 6.2 kilometer circuit. Ben, is he going to finish?
Yes.
And will he get lapped?
Yeah.
Okay, and what lap will he first be lapped on?
Lap 21.
And how many?
2 laps down.
2 laps down. Wow. Okay.
The way he looked at him was after he said yes. Yeah, you did.
Because he's going to be a lap down.
It'll make sense why I asked that when we go through some other things later. Okay, Nia, will he finish?
Later on.
Yes.
And will he be lapped? And if so, what lap?
25.
Oh, of course. And 2?
3. Back to my normal routine.
There's only a 50 lap race.
Yeah, maybe make it 2.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say 23, 2 laps down. Now, see, what's really funny is, Ben, you gave me your answers without knowing what Chris has said. And Chris has said he will finish, he will get lapped on 21, and he will be 2 laps down.
Great.
However, Alex has said that he will finish, but he will finish on the lead lap because of safety cars / red flags. But he will have been lapped on lap 24.
So he would have been lapped, then unlapped himself.
Yeah.
That's a very late safety car red flag then.
Baku.
Yeah.
Literally a 2 lap sprint race.
That's a really good sprint race as well.
That was the best sprint race of the season. Hands down. And it wasn't even an official sprint. Oh.
See, FIA Michael Massey, you just got to do 2 laps.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you need. And 2 laps and make Lewis press the wrong button on his steering wheel.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sorted.
There's no runoff into so just hope it's not another street circuit with no runoff.
Sweats and we're going to Saudi Arabia. So and then we've got Yas Marina, but with changes. Ooh.
How exciting.
I know. I mean, it has the potential to be exciting purely because of the circumstance, not because of the actual circuit, which is unfortunate. Like, imagine if we were going to somewhere like Spa or Silverstone for a championship decider.
Brazil, like it should be.
I mean, yeah. But also no, because Lewis Hamilton was stupidly fast.
Yeah, that's true. So where was it close? Top.
I mean, it was kind of close. It was kind of close in the UK because Max had speed through certain sectors, but Lewis had speed in other sectors. So
mean,
their
it was-
overall lap times were similar.
It was very, very close at one point. Then Max was in the wall.
Yeah, it was very close, and then it was very far apart.
Yeah,
And then that
I
distance
think-
suddenly came to a stop.
there's one issue with racing it at Silverstone, and that's that it's like 5 degrees currently.
Yeah.
And it's snowing.
I don't know if the snow's made it that far south.
Hasn't made it to Wales, I can tell you that.
No,
Well,
It
North
was.
Wales, yes. Mid Wales, no.
it was snowing in Leicester.
Yeah. That's basically all I know where it's been snowing on. is
Yeah.
football matches.
Yeah,
It's been snowing by like a lot of the F1 teams' HQs.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
in
quite close
Manchester.
to. Yeah,
And Manchester. I know
F1.
it's been snowing in Manchester.
Yeah, but that Manchester's
Yeah,
way
that's
far
really
north.
Mm.
But if it's been snowing around Milton Keynes sort of area, then you know
It was
that's.
snowing at Mercedes.
Oh, okay, and yeah, that's if it's snowing at Mercedes, Brackley or Brinklow.
it's Brackley, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good
Brackley.
question. They
Yeah.
posted on social media.
Oh, there it is.
so-
Look, Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula One team closed. Opens at 9 a.m. and Silverstone. Yeah, it's literally a 5-minute drive to the circuit. So if it's snowing at Mercedes HQ, it's
Yeah.
probably snowing at Silverstone.
If not snowing,
Snow
very
tires,
close.
anyone? How to get the heat in Pirellis? Teams in the garages with actual flamethrowers. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Like,
The
could you
new
imagine?
definition of burning rubber.
Could you imagine? You know, in football, where when it snows and they have to like scrape the pitch around the white lines. Do you imagine they have to do that, but they just do it around the white lines of the circuit so they can tell where the track limits are?
That's a good thing for track limits. Just get snow.
Yeah,
Just put
exactly.
snow on the track.
Couldn't see the limits, mate. There was snow on the.
I mean,
Oh,
Yeah, but
right
then you
then.
could also see how far the car's gone.
Yeah,
you-
it's
you
hard,
could
hard
see-
and fast. That was
Yeah,
where
you-
your car was.
Yeah,
It's just easier way to give penalties if the FIA does.
I mean, you could put like ketchup sachets. How many have popped? If you've popped a ketchup sachet, you've gone too far. Done. Admittedly, it's more of a one-use sort of thing, but
Yeah.
But
could-
they might
That-
get
that-
ketchup on the tire. That's another way you could tell if someone else does it as well.
well, I mean,
but
if you make the substance instead of ketchup slippy enough, then they'll just spin out. You'll know if they've done it then.
yeah,
It was dangerous.
We'll get that paint that the police use on like money bags that you can't wash off. So instead of Flovis paint, the teams are stuck with this other incriminating evidence.
They just get like the invisible pens and just draw it across. And at Park Ferme, they just
Come
get,
over
like,
with the
little
UV
torch.
light. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
look, there you go,
He's been over. Penalty.
disqualified.
just like at the end of a session, just see marshals going along with the UV light, just making sure.
That'd be brilliant. But I think that what we're really hinting at is, we just want consistency in actual track limits, like MotoGP has with the white line. Ha, amazing. Yeah,
Go back to what we talked about, like last race of the season. I think Mexico would be a good one purely for the podium.
yeah.
It would be cool to have like the world champion, his car, if he wins, the car coming up on the same. Like that'd be good.
I mean, if you're gonna do like the world champion, if you're gonna do the finale at there, then sod the winner's car going up. Make it the world champion's car goes
Yeah.
up. Like, nobody cares about the race winner at that point. This is championship time.
I mean,
Right.
unless it's the same person.
I mean, yeah. In which case, then you've killed two birds with one stone. So,
Yeah,
raised
to just fix
two
the
cars
race.
with one lift. Don't get into more controversies, God. The great Ferrari master plan. But, well, I mean, that's about all we can look forward to with Saudi Arabia, because we honestly don't know how it's going to go yet. It's a complete unknown, but it looks like a deformed spoon, so I'm not holding out too much hope for it. But we'll see. They haven't done a Qatar and signed like a 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia, have they?
I was about to ask that. I don't know.
Probably
I
about
really
a
hope-
50-year deal.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of oil money there. So then again, Abu Dhabi seems to just have the championship finale now. So
Yeah, they may as well just make the calendar the Middle East.
yeah, the Formula One Middle East Championship.
Yeah, two separate. They can have a Middle East championship and a Europe.
Yeah, of COVID
Well,
and others.
yeah, but we keep like South America and that. But
Oh yeah. We inherit the best ones.
yeah,
They can have all the new ones. They can go to Qatar and Oman and Yemen and the UAE and Bahrain and yeah. I mean, the only one that I'd want is Sakir, just the outer, because that
Yeah.
was all right. But other than that, no, they can have it. Oh. So on this week's
Sounds like
episode
the
of
same-
Tangents,
It sounds like the same energy of Australia in Eurovision would be Shakira in the Europe.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, yeah, we couldn't really call it the Formula One World Championship at that point, though, could we? So then again, we still call it World Championship. We're not going to Africa yet, so
we call it
Dems.
World Championship.
yeah. Well, I mean, the NFL says that the Super Bowl is the world champions, and they're the only teams and the only country that plays. So
It's a nice
You
thing
know.
to expect.
yeah, they don't have a great grasp of geography. Inserts like numerous list of URLs to Americans answering geography questions incorrectly here. Name a country outside of America. Europe. So after sort of rabbiting on and sort of disappearing off on another tangent-based episode,
Slight tangent.
that's
Slight
fine.
tangent.
we'll we'll bring this episode to a wrap there. We'll bring you our review of all of the action from Saudi Arabia, both F1 and F2, at the same time next week, and
Hopefully with
we
more
will
of us.
also be after your predictions for the season finale. So until next time, thank you for watching / listening. Give us a like, rate, and follow, all the usual. Thank you and goodbye.